Tony D and Little Joan, and there are no trailers today. I can't find a single one. So today I'm going to do sort of a screenwriter's tip, I guess. It's more of a writer's tip for those of you who are doing comics, books, whatever you're creating. Something to look forward to, actually. I've done videos about how to deal with fans. This is a video about how to deal with the positivity coming from fans. I know it's a little weird to talk about that, but it can be a little overwhelming sometimes. So I thought I'd talk about it. Smash a like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Thanks for checking out the Pineys. Books 1 through 16 available at Amazon.com. Blah. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. Now, it's not a bad thing. It's just sometimes you feel, or I feel, a little bit awkward. I don't quite know how to respond all the time. And over the years, I've kind of figured out, for me anyway, as someone who's awkward in social situations, how to respond to people who say very positive things about your book or comic or whatever. All right, here, Joan. Joan, of course, is not one of those people. Um, first off, it's very gratifying when somebody says something positive about your book or comic or whatever. And you should always thank them, of course, and be polite. And, um, let them talk is usually a good thing to do because sometimes they'll have something to say about it. They'll want to get out why they liked your comic or your book, and you definitely want to hear that. It's often good to, as I said, you should always listen to hear what the fans have to say. You should not obey them, right? Fans don't always know what's best for the characters or your book or your career or whatever. They only know what they want. So, and you want to keep surprising them too. So you don't want to take in, you want to take in what they say and sort of process it. It doesn't mean they can't have good suggestions. It just means you shouldn't follow them like exclusively because ultimately fans are great, but they will eventually reach the point where they dare you to destroy your own creation. And I've seen that in improv. I've even seen a little bit of it in comics, but and in web comics. In books, not so much because there's a little more of a buffer there. So, but fans, and even when they tell you to destroy your own creation, they're just doing it for their own entertainment. They're not doing it to be mean. Fans are not generally mean. They're generally very good. Even the ones that are criticizing you are trying to help you. It's just a handful of, trolls and weirdos that actually are very negative. But the vast majority of them will say very nice things, and you should thank them and be polite. But don't feel that you are obligated beyond that. I had fans offer me food and dinner and stuff, and I usually have a policy of not accepting that kind of stuff from people I don't know, simply because I don't know them, right? And even a well-meaning person who offers you something for free could, make a mistake or something. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where your fan feels awkward, right? So let's say they offer you, I don't know, a casserole, and you go, "Oh, thank you very much," and you take that, and they're like, they might go, "Well, why don't you try it now?" And see, now you're in a weird thing, and they don't mean to be weird necessarily. They're just excited to see you, and maybe they made that casserole for you, and they want to see you eat it while they're there. And then you have to eat it, and then maybe it's not good, right? And then what do you do? And then you're like, well, then you're in a really awkward place. Don't worry, people generally people don't offer me casseroles. I'm just saying. I'm just making up an example, but I did have a fan. He was very nice. Him and his wife were big fans of my comic, and they wanted to take me out to dinner, and I felt weird about that. I didn't want to take him up on his offer. I think these days I'd be okay with it. Back then I was like, no, I feel bad that you would pay money to feed me. I just didn't want to take that free meal from him, because I also wasn't sure if I wanted to be his friend, and I wasn't sure if I would end up somehow being obligated to be his friend at the end of the meal, if you know what I mean. So I politely declined, and it was okay. He still would email me on occasion. He was very nice. I think he's still a fan. Um, but I always tell that story. And although these days, if he asked me, I think I'd be okay with it. Like fans, you kind of know. There's some fans I kind of know, and I might take them up on an offer like that to do me a favor or do something. But generally, I don't know fans like I know my friends, so you have to be very careful of that. They may have some expectation that you're unaware of. And with your friends, you've kind of vetted your friends. You kind of know their deal, and you can push back on them. It's weird to push back on a fan who you just met and then suddenly becomes your friend, because you don't know them and they may misinterpret that pushback, whatever it is. It may not be anything major to you, but to them, they may feel hurt or weird. And it's also true, like, they say never meet your heroes. And the reason they say that is, so, for instance, for me, my hero was Kurt Vonnegut. And he came to my college freshman year and gave a talk. And I was, like, so excited. I got my copy of Breakfast of Champions, and I went to the talk, and I really wanted him to sign it. I don't think I got him to sign it, but I did meet him backstage after the talk. And first off, he trashed the college, which I didn't care at the time. I thought it was hilarious. And then backstage, I went to go meet him, and he was drunk. I'm pretty sure he was drunk. He reeked of alcohol, and he looked a little unsteady, and it kind of shattered my romantic illusion of Kurt Vonnegut as this legendary, literary figure, and then to see him kind of staggering and not together was sort of disillusioning. So yeah, that's more of a tip for fans. Like, don't get your expectations too high if you do meet a creator. But as a creator, you have to understand that fans can get their expectations very high. So you want to meet those expectations as best you can. So for me, I'm the Pineys guy, and I have to know everything about the Pine Barrens and Jersey Devil and all those sorts of things. So I got to be on my game. So when I go to an event, I like to refresh some info on the Jersey Devil or Ghost in the area or whatever. So when they ask me stuff, I'll have a couple of extra stories in my back pocket to tell. So like, he always knows stories. He always knows stories. I want that great reaction from fans. I want to exceed their expectations and not disappoint them on it. But that's very hard to sustain, which is why you don't necessarily want to hang out with the fans afterwards, at least not too long. Maybe you go to a party, have a drink or something, grab some food off the buffet, but you don't want to linger too long and destroy the mystique, I think. You want to keep that mystique of, like, wow, I met this guy, he was the coolest guy who knows everything about X, Y, or Z, whatever it is your project is related to. Whether you're doing a character, I used to do that. I used to dress up in character as one of the characters from my comic or novel or whatever, and I would do that shtick. Unfortunately, none of those comics or novels were ever popular enough for anybody to ever get it. but now with the Piney stuff, that has exceeded my expectations, and people really like it. So they like me to come and be a storyteller and tell lots of stories. So my job is to meet their expectations by having so many freaking stories that they leave going, that guy has so many amazing stories. And that's the kind of attitude you want to bring to the game. So it's very gratifying. I was just at a party, and somebody loaned a friend of theirs my books, and they were on the second Pineys book, and he was saying he liked it, and and that was very nice. That's very gratifying. So I thanked them, and that, that's about all I could do. And then I went back to stuff in my face and party food. Um, so yeah, just be polite. Don't feel weird about it. It's been many years of me doing this kind of stuff, so now I'm very comfortable. You know, I haven't had, like I said, I haven't had a lot of weird fan interactions at all. Um, but when you meet a fan, just thank them for buying your book, and a lot of a good maneuver is to talk about your current book. If they haven't read it yet, or ask them to elaborate further. Oh, have you read the latest book yet? And what did you think of it? Did you like it? Do you like for mine? Do you like the short stories? Right, that's book 16. That would be something that would interest me as an author, because I've done 16 books, and 14 of them have been one big story, and 2 of them have been short stories, a collection of short stories. So it's interesting to me to see, are there fans out there who, oh God, when are you doing another short story one? Or are there fans like, oh no, I want more of the long stories? Just an interesting mental note for me. Not that I'm going to change anything per se, but to sort of get that piece of info in my brain. And if I heard over and over again, my God, I've got to have more short stories, I'd be leaning towards doing more short stories, and vice versa, right? Um, so it's all good. I mean, it's all very gratifying when you have fans who like you. So just don't be awkward, don't be weird, just thank them, congratulate them, on the purchase of your book, I guess. No, you just say, oh no, it's great, thank you so much for buying the book and supporting me. I hope you'll like the next ones. Stay humble, I think, is always key. You don't want to come off as an arrogant jerk in any way. And just thank them. And some of them will want to tell stories, and you want to, they're your customer, so you want to let them tell some stories. And just be polite, and don't worry about it if people are coming to your table and you're trying to make sales and someone's going on and on. Just let them talk, because they're your customer, and the customer, they bought the ticket, so they paid for the ride. And part of that experience is talking to you and telling you their story, and how your book made them feel, or how it tied in. Like, I get a lot of stories about how, oh yeah, this it was very interesting. You talked about the Galloways, and I'm from Galloway Township, and that was really neat. Or you mentioned this name or that name, and I'm related to the leads. And recently I met somebody who was related to Guyverson, and Guyverson, I believe, was the alternate name, or the actual name, of Sammy Buck, who was the fiddler of the Pines. He appears in book 10 of the Pineys. So you also learn things too from the fans. If you get constant feedback, like one of the things I honed in on after, say, book 3 was how the fans really enjoyed having me name specific places in South Jersey where events took place. They really enjoy that. So that's why my books have gotten more and more specific with locations in the stories. People really love that, and I'm able to do that. I mean, that's not a big deal at all, because the characters already live in South Jersey. So mentioning the town names, oh, that's a big win. big win for the fans. I kind of kicking myself for not doing it more in the first 3 books. So yeah, so fans are awesome. Don't feel weird, and just take the compliments and enjoy them. And that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Thank you, fans. We'll see you in the next one.